lot about my stabilizers and what I do as a woman and what works for me, because I don't run a lot of weight on my stabilizers, never have, and I also don't shoot a very long front bar. So I get asked a lot, and I run into a lot of women that typically are like, I'm shooting a 30-inch bar and I'm running, 6, 7, 8 ounces out the front, and I'm having issues with my hold, with my aim. I just don't really feel like it's steady. Well, first of all, I think a lot of times we fall into the loophole of what works for our husband or boyfriend, should naturally work for us. And I learned a long time ago that didn't work for me. So from a young age, I started shooting a shorter front bar. I shoot a 24-inch front bar, and I only run about 2 ounces out the front, and everybody's probably completely mind blown by that, because it's totally not what a lot of people do, even in the wind or in general, but it's worked for me throughout the years. And I find for me that when I do add a lot of weight, or I do go with a longer bar, front bar, I find that it exaggerates my movements, especially on 3D. I'm used to a very slow moving pin, just a little bit of movement. But I find that when I look at that pin and it's not where I want to be, that movement for me becomes exaggerated because my bow's too heavy for me to counteract. So I've played over the years with what really works, and after last year, I found that I wanted to add more weight indoors. And that helps me indoors because I feel like I'm just standing there holding at one place. And that does help. Again, it does exaggerate my movements a little more, but a little more weight indoor for me is fine, but not adding to the bar length. So I tried it out here I came down early before Foley and I tried a little extra weight, and within 5 targets, I was stripping that bow right back down to what I knew what worked for me, looking at pictures from last year and saying, where was I at before? Put it right back in my aim, and my hold was right back where I wanted it. So I think it's interesting that what necessarily may work indoor doesn't necessarily work out here, and how we have a pattern of what our brain wants us to do as we're aiming or holding. And how we respond. 3D, I'm always looking at what I want to hit. And I'm the same way indoor. I shoot a circle that I look through. I don't shoot a pin, I don't shoot a dot, because I get anxiety when I need to put that dot or that pin over where I want to hit, because out here, I'm used to looking at what I want to aim at. I was born, raised on a 3D range, so I was always taught, look at that hole in the 12, or look at that spot, or reference this, and aim at that, and magically my pin's there, and it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. So I think at nature, if we are analyzing the pin and the movement suddenly, and that becomes exaggerated, suddenly our focus is not on what we want to hit, but it's on our pin. And that's like, woo, for me, that's like complete derailment. So I always pay attention to that. My pin's just kind of hanging out there and I'm focused where I want to hit. And I want a stabilizer setup that's going to be forgiving for that and work for that.